Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Look at these beautiful sunflowers right here. Well, I am here today to recap or talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then I'll be talking about Real Housewives, sorry, no, Married to Medicine. As you can see, baby Crone is a little bit out of it. And I do not have my doggy pooch right here next to me to keep me some company. So I don't feel so alone and lonesome over here. However, I would just like to maybe highlight the fact that I'm not sure if you guys, well, Hi, it is towards the end of the week. We're almost approaching Sunday again. And I have yet to actually talk about either Married to Medicine or Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that is because Lady Crone has been under the weather and she is a private individual. So therefore, I don't want to say much. However, she does miss everybody. She misses you sunflowers, crones, and chickens and munchkins. Everything in between. From Lady Crone to you guys. You know, sunflowers and sunflowers to Lady Crone too. So with that being said, I am here to talk about specifically Atlanta because there's a whole lot of buzz going around on the media, on the internets between, it seems to be a pretty clear division. It's like 50-50. Half of the people are for Kenya and stand by Kenya and understand that what Kenya has did was I don't want to say it was justable, but they could understand where Kenya would come from and honestly know that that's just Kenya. Kenya goes down low. You know, usually it's like, well, what did you do to get Kenya upset? Because Kenya's just not going to pop off and do that for nothing. So you got the Kenya defenders, and then you got the Kenya haters who believe that Kenya doing this is revenge P, which if you did not see our last video, we talked about what revenge P was about. However, it does not appear that way, although rumor on the streets, you tell me how true that is. I'm not sure if you guys could tell me how true it is. I don't even think you've seen the pictures either. But apparently, I don't know who broke this rumor. Was it Portia? Somebody, everybody's talking about this, but Portia talked about the fact that, or somebody said that the pictures that Kenya Moore got was not from offline, but it apparently, allegedly, was edited photos, and somebody within the group who is still, yep, this was definitely Portia that said this, that somebody that was within this, that still one of the housewives is still on the show, gave the fuel to Kenya. So it's a whole mess over there. Brit shouldn't have stayed if Kenya left, and if Kenya left, then I understand if Kenya didn't want to tackle or take down the person that gave her the source and information, because she is responding back on the internet, I heard, and talking about how the fact that she did not get these pictures from anybody else, she just looked them up on the internet before she scrubbed her page and everything you can find about Brit Edie. But the thing is, you have the haters that feel like Kenya was just doing revenge P and that she was totally out of the wrong, like Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia Bailey feels that there was it was quite a few people that were in detest of it, because while Kenya was, I'll say slowly descending down the hole of Brit Edie, pun intended, maybe. But no, literally, it started off surface level and everybody was kind of like gasping, like clutching their pearls, like, what am I witnessing here? And then it slowly started to go down and downhill, and you started seeing people trickle and creep on out of the Kenya hair, Kenya Moore spa. Wow, her spa. But the thing is, this is where my little bit of double, I don't want to say double standard, but it's like both good and bad. I understand where Kenya was coming from. Britt Edie mentioned having a blicky, a papow, a Glock. I don't know what you could call it, but all those different things, having a whip. She mentioned all these things all that to say, she mentioned she had that. Kelly heard it. Kenya heard it. So clearly, the microphones heard it. Lady Crone and I replayed it a few times back. And we were just like, yep, she said it not once, but twice. Twice. She was bold enough to say it. So, was that just her having some big balls, or was that her literally trying to flex and say, try me if you want, Kenya. Call me a peasant or not, but I'm going to be coming for you. And I guess maybe Kenya was, but the thing is with Kenya, the best way I want to say is there's a time and place for everything. Now, I know you're filming for the reality TV show. You could have picked any other day, Kenya, to do this, but you chose to give Britt Edie the floor and the spotlight during the opening of your hair spa. The priorities didn't seem aligned right there. I think I'm missing the point. How does a store opening relate to somebody who is not the store owner? I mean, I get you as the store owner was hurt and was tired of Britt, and you was fed up, and you fought fire with fire, you fought fire with fire, you went down, you went to the gutters, you pulled up the trenches of this girl's past. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. Britt Edie did not scrub her internet page before Kenya got those pictures. So Britt, if you was that ashamed of it, why didn't you delete it before you became a reality TV star? I'm just saying. Just think about it. This is what they told us, our generation, Gen Z. This is what they told us as we was growing up as children. To be careful what you post on the internet, because potential employers or employees is going to see that, judge you, and it can affect your career. That's exact case in point. Case and point right there. That's exactly what happened. That's all that happened, is that she did not scrub the internet the best way she could have. Maybe she didn't care about those pictures. Maybe she didn't think anybody was going to use those pictures against her. And then when it was suddenly used against her, she had a whole flipping attitude, but it's probably just because it was Kenya that used it against her. I'm sure if it was anybody else that used those pictures against Britt wouldn't have had a problem. First off, Britt didn't even see these pictures. She got secondhand from Kelly, and I forget who else. Could it have been possibly Cynthia? No, Cynthia was with Portia. And okay, so Portia was with Shamia. No, Portia was with Kelly and Cynthia. Right? It's one of the new girls. Angela was somewhere. I think Angela was with, well, I know for a fact that who was with not Kenya, who was with Britt was definitely Kelly, which I've found out that they actually are friends. I did not know that. That makes more sense, because I thought it was kind of weird that I saw Britt on like kind of like a party bus with and Kelly, and they were like chit-chatting, like they were kind of friends. I was just like, wait, since when were they friends? I'm like, last time I checked, I thought Portia was cool with Kelly. I'm like, what is Kelly doing over here chilling with? But hey, who knows? Friends, they they are, well, this is besides the fact of the friendship. This is really just mostly about Kenya this episode, because it is a hot topic. That is what everybody's talking about this episode. It is all about Kenya and her expose, if you must say, of Britt Edie. which every time I think of Edie, I think of Grey Gardens. So I'm finding ways to say Edie, but also it's distasteful in my mouth to associate Brit Edie with Grey Gardens, but it is name association. I cannot help it. But the way I feel about it with Kenya is the fact that, as I said, she could have picked any other day. She could have picked any other day. She could have gave herself a housewarming party. I get you would listen. I understand it was completely to embarrass her. That's what Kenya was like. This is the best time. Everybody, all eyes are on me. And what I'm going to do with that attention is bring it to this fool, bring it to this woman who thinks that she can attack me and my character and think I'm not going to come with some smoke. So she said, I got you, boo. And that's exactly what happened. Like I want to say, Kenya pretty much had that catch me outside. How about that? And Brit Edie was just like, square up. I'm here. And yeah, it was just not good. It was messy all around from both parties, period. Neither of them should take full responsibility. As people say, it takes two to tango. And last time I checked, Kenya and Brit, that's two. So therefore they did the tango. And it's a tango of a hot mess. So because of that, and who started this mess? Brit Edie. But are we going to be talking about that? No, we're talking about Kenya. So here is the problem I have. Portia, this basically ended Portia's friendship with Kenya. She was just like, yeah, I'm mad at this. I don't even want to be on camera right now. Take me off. I was just like, dang, Portia. But of course, it's Portia's show. So whatever Portia says goes. So if she says, get these cameras out of my face, get these cameras out of my face. So because of that, they sure did. They script like they were just like, okay, cool, cut. I didn't like the way Portia treated it. I didn't like the way Cynthia treated it. Shamia was playing the fence. Kelly, if you're really down for Brit like that, why did you stand around and watch what happened? But also you're down for Brit because you went right to Brit and told her what Kenya was doing. And Brit, which I don't know why. She should have just gone in there to see what the hell Kenya was showing off to it was blurred to us. People didn't get to take videos. There were some videos for sloppy stuff, but we literally couldn't see these pictures ourselves. So I don't know how is Brit just going to trust what Kelly said. Is Brit going to look back at this show and see the blurred images and be like, oh my God, you were showing nudity? I don't know what she sought to accomplish by not going in there and confronting this head on to see what pictures are you using to expose of me. That's all I'm saying. If you got balls to talk about you got a blicky, then you got the balls to walk in there and confront Kenya in her own store as she's exposing you. So, as she wants to claim it, of course. So, miss me with that. Miss me with standing outside and acting like you're unfazed and unbothered. And you're just like, okay, girl. All right. That's just my personal opinion. That's just how I took it. She was completely unfazed that Kenya was basically showing off her nudes. She seemed completely unfazed by it. And now she wants to have a problem with it. And now she has gotten Kenya kicked off the show. But at that time, girlie did not look like she had any problem. She didn't march back in there. She didn't say, what? She's doing what? Nothing. Nothing of that sorts. Cool, calm, and collected. She was the one that had the upper hand because she did not allow Kenya to rev her up like that. Or it could be just the simple fact that she was already salty and in her feelings that Kenya did not even want to really talk to her. And she tried. She really did try to talk to Kenya. She honestly did. I'm not going to lie. She tried to say hi, tried to give her a hug. And Kenya basically pulled a Beyonce on a Jason Lee and just ooh, and didn't even see her. Brit Edie, who dat? I don't know her. That's how Kenya took it. And so Britt was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. Okay, I don't have to stay here. I was trying to be a good friend and show you that I'm coming to support you. And this is what you do to me. So she was just like, I am done with Kenya. I have tried with Kenya. But you know, two sides to every story. Clearly, Britt, she did not want to talk to you, because if she talked to you, then that was going to completely mess up the fact that she was going to have a whole expose, because then she would have been acting like a fake bee up there, talking to you, acting like y'all cool, and then turn around and go expose you. No, if you're going to be committed to the part, be committed to the part. If you're dead to me and I'm going to expose your body like you're a piece of nothing, then I'm going to treat you like you are non-existent and a non-factor in my life. I completely understand where Kenya is coming from with that approach, but that's all I have to say. But yeah, like I said, the internet is split between two: the Kenya haters and the Kenya supporters. I'm a Kenya supporter. And yes, I can acknowledge it's messy. Now, you can support somebody and still acknowledge when they're wrong. That's just being truthful and seeing the situation for what it is. Just because one thing is wrong doesn't mean the entire batch is spoiled. So you could just, and I'm not even trying to scratch it out or erase it. I'm just like circling and I'm like, I see it. It's right there. But let's look at the bigger picture here. Let's really try to put ourselves, maybe even in Kenya's shoes. And if somebody is yapping, talking about you and threatening weaponry, what would you do? What would you do? Most people would be like, oh, I just act like I want face. I would just not be bothered. Okay, yeah, sure. You're on a reality TV show. That's part of the and let's be honest here. Brit was about to use Kenya as a storyline. I even said it in the last episode, or like the episode before that. I said, what is Brit Edie gonna do once Kenya's gone? Because that was her whole storyline about Kenya can't accept the fact that her and her husband are so happily in love that she now got a second engagement ring, got a second ring. She's like, this is an upgrade, baby. This is wedding ring 2.0, sweetie. There's no other man in my life, only me and my husband, boo. And Kenya's like, okay, calm down. I was just curious. You know how people are here. Or maybe it just could have been that Kenya maybe knew she was a little bit of an escort and was just like, you sure you not like pimping out here? Like, what's going on? Like, why you got two rings? And flaunting it at that on top of that, like, like, yeah, look at my husband. Look what he got me. Okay, girl, you and your husband go chill in a corner, please. You're a little bit too obsessed with him. I'm gonna need you to hop off. But that's just my personal opinion. But hey, listen, that's her husband. She can ride it as long as she wants. So, yeah, I think that was just the whole discrepancy. Is the fact that Brit just used that as a way to get at Kenya, to have something to fight with Kenya. And now she's feeling satisfactory because she got Kenya kicked off the show. And she probably feels even more vindicated because half of the people out there, so I said it's a good 50-50, that half of the people are just right there on Brit Edie's side supporting her and our Kenya haters. And she's like, at least somebody is seeing it my way. And she's got some validation with that. And not only that, but some of the other housewives also is in support of Brit Edie and not Kenya. And maybe that's another reason why she got herself iced off the off of the show. It's not just based off of the fact that it's not just the fact that she did this, but it's the fact that she did this and her own castmates turned her back against her. It was just like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. We might have to pass on her, but y'all gonna pass on Brit Edie talking about a blicky pow pow. Okay. Somebody has their priorities not in order over there, but I digress. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this about what I had to talk about. I think I pretty much covered everything. Well, I mean, it was really just about Kenny. Everybody else was side characters, honestly. Yep, pretty much got everything. Yeah. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this recap on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I sure did. Very late. Sincerely apologize. My bad. However, sunflowers as we wait for Lady Crone to return. Okay. And with that being said, hold up. This is Lady Crone. So with that being said, you sunflowers know how Lady Crone and I feel. We will see you guys in the next one. Please leave your comments down below if you have not left your comments below yet. Like I say, at this very moment, I guess I will be responding to your comments. So I will be getting to that. I will chip chop tilly ho over to the comments and talk and chat it up with you guys. So run up them comments. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not, but please do talk about it. How do you feel about this? You guys really did like the last episode where we talked about what was supposed to be coming up this week, and then we just didn't follow through because you're missing Mama Crone. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed already. It would really help and mean a lot to the channel. We would really appreciate it. And with that being said, I hope, give this video a thumbs up if you have not given it a thumbs up already. Please and thank you. And I think with that, I have said everything. And that being said, sunflowers.